Russian President Vladimir Putin suspended Moscow's participation in the last remaining nuclear arms control pact with the US, announcing the move Tuesday in a bitter speech where he made clear he would not change his strategy in the war in Ukraine. In his long-delayed State of the Nation address, Putin cast his country and Ukraine as victims of Western double-dealing and said it was Russia, not Ukraine, fighting for its very existence. "We aren't fighting the Ukrainian people," Putin said in a speech days before the war's first anniversary on Friday. "The Ukrainian people have become hostages of the Kyiv regime and its Western masters, which have effectively occupied the country." The speech reiterated a litany of grievances that the Russian leader has frequently offered as justification for the widely condemned military campaign while vowing no military let-up in a conflict that has reawakened fears of a new Cold War. On top of that, Putin sharply upped the ante by declaring that Moscow would suspend its participation in the so-called New START Treaty. The pact, signed in 2010 by the US and Russia, caps the number of long-range nuclear warheads the two sides can deploy and limits the use of missiles that can carry atomic weapons. Speech Putin delivered his highly anticipated and venom-filled speech as tonight Joe Biden will rally support for Ukraine in Poland. The highly symbolic dueling addresses come at a time of unprecedented international tensions. Vlad's gamble to invade Ukraine has put the world on the sharpest knife edge since the Cold War, and while his speech was a near 2-hour diatribe, the central message was clear. He blames the West for the war in Ukraine. The address even suffered a blackout as a major state TV channel suffered an apparent hack attack. But in one of the most extraordinary moments, Putin made a veiled threat to use nukes. He claimed the very existence of Russia is now at stake, something considered a red line for the Kremlin. The goal of the West is to inflict a strategic defeat on Russia, to end us once and for all, raged Putin. Don't care, we will react accordingly, because we are talking about the existence of our country. Moscow's nuclear doctrine clearly states their forces can use nuclear weapons when the country's very existence is at risk. Elsewhere in the speech, Putin also vowed Russia would ditch participation in a key arms control treaty, further ramping up the nuclear danger with the West. The New START Treaty caps the number of strategic nuclear warheads that the US and Russia can deploy, and it controls the deployment of land and submarine-based missiles and bombers to deliver them. Putin also pledged to restart nuclear testing if the US did the same. Flanked by 4 Russian tricolor flags either side, Putin went on, "The West intend to translate the local conflict into a global confrontation. We understand it this way and will react accordingly." His speech came as fears loom Russia is about to launch a major new offensive in bid to break the bloody deadlock with Kyiv. Meanwhile, Biden, fresh off his visit to Kyiv, will give his speech tonight at the Royal Castle, Poland. The last time Biden spoke there, he said, "For God's sake, Putin cannot remain in power." Pinballing between topics, Vlad doubled down on his bloody war, which has seen an estimated nearly 150,000 of his soldiers die.